Hi, my name is Nitin Sharma, and this video is about Amazon's Elastic Compute Cloud, or Amazon EC2. Now, I am a Microsoft certified professional in VB, and my company makes e-auction and maintenance management software. And for the last few years, we have been working extensively with Amazon Web Services. Now today's video is not a very comprehensive tutorial on Amazon EC2 by any means, but it's kind of a quick start, get your hands dirty kind of tutorial, where I'll be launching a virtual machine in the cloud. So what is Amazon EC2? Well, Amazon EC2 is a web service which allows you to run virtual computers in the cloud. Now these computers come in various kinds of configurations with various capacities, such as a number of CPUs, different RAM, different sizes of hard disk, and so on. So you have, for example, you have standard instances, you have medium instances, then you have large instances which has almost 8 GB of memory. Now you also have extra large instances with almost 15 GB of memory, and most noticeably you have micro instances which allow you to run very small machines, around 600 MB of memory. And then you have high memory instances also, and even high CPU instances. So it depends on your computing needs, how much computing power you need and how much memory you need, and you can launch the machine which best suits your application. Now what is good about Amazon EC2 is that you can very easily manage these virtual computers from a web console. You can be up and running your server within minutes, and you can also scale up the capacity automatically or manually whenever the load on your website or your application increases. And significantly, you can also scale down when the load on your when you have offload periods, for example. Okay, so now let's see how you can fire up your own server in Amazon EC2. Now, first thing you have to do is sign up and create an AWS account. And once you have done that, you can log into your AWS management console. Just put in your email and your password and just sign on. Right. So you can see the Amazon Web Services Management Console here, and you're seeing several links out here. For example, compute and networking, deployment, storage, app services, and in computing you have the EC2 link. So just click on the EC2 link. EC2 is Amazon's equivalent of IaaS, Infrastructure as a Service. Right, so we are in the EC2 management console, and as you can see on your right are your resources. So, and you can see the health of various services. You have these availability zones. These are the data centers which Amazon has. And Amazon lets you launch servers in any of their data centers or availability zones. So just click on Launch an Instance, and we'll choose the classic. Click on Continue, and now you just choose what you want on your server. So I'm going to choose a server which has Windows Server 2008 R2 with SQL Server Express and IS. So I click on that and just put in the number of instances you want to run, and then you select the instance type. Now the instance type can be a micro, small, high, medium, and there are various options with various computing resources in each. So let me just choose the micro instance for the demo, and I'll leave the defaults and I'll continue. Now here you have the advanced instance options on the screen. You can select various options like monitoring, like for example termination protection, shutdown behavior. I'll just leave everything to its default, and I'll just continue. Right. So here it gives you the storage device and its configuration, and I'm choosing the defaults. Right. We now come to the keys screen. On this you can, these are like tags which you can attach to your instance so that you can easily identify it. So let me just put something meaningful. For example, let me put Windows 2008 R2 Server demo. Right, so it's just a tag to identify your machine. Then you have to choose your key pair. Now, key pair is Amazon's way of protecting your instances, and you can either create a new key pair. It's a public and private key protection mechanism. So we are not creating any new pair here, as I've already created them earlier. So let me choose from one of my existing key pairs, and I go forward. Now we come to the security group screen, and security group screen is like configuring the firewall for your server. So I'm choosing the web servers group, I'm choosing the SQL server group, and I'm just choosing the default group. So you can use any of the security groups. I'm not going into many details here. This is the on the top you see an AMI, which is the Windows image which I'm running. It's a SQL 2008 R2 Express and a Windows 2008 R2 machine. The security groups are there, and I'm just clicking next. So now it says your instances are launching, and let me close it and let me go over to my instances page. Right, so you can see on the very bottom, you can identify it by its name, Windows 2008 R2 Server for demo, and it's running. But if you see the status check, it still says initializing, right? Now that means our server is not yet ready. Now it says 2 checks, 2 by 2, and it has performed some checks, and the machine is supposedly ready. But if I right click on it and if I say get the Windows password, it says you cannot have the Windows password right now. Now why do I need a Windows password? Because I'll connect to this machine with remote desktop, and I'll put in the username as administrator. So this will give me the password which I have to put in on that login screen for the administrator. So the machine is still not ready, and it can take up to 15 minutes for the machine to be fully ready. And then when you click on get Windows administrator password, then you can retrieve that Windows password using your private key, which is available to you. Now this private key, remember we selected the key pairs, so this is that same private key of that same key pair which we used when we launched the instance. So let me just choose it from my machine. Right. So here you can see the PEM file. This is the same file which we used while selecting the key pairs for our instance. So I just select it and I say decrypt password, and it gives me the Windows administrator password straight away. And I can save it with me so that I can use it at the time of login. So let me just put it here, and let me close this. So now I just right click on my machine and I say just connect. Now a dialog box will come up which will have a link of download the shortcut file. Now this is the Windows remote desktop file, an RDP file which if you double click you will be taken to the logon of that server. So let me just double click on it, and instantly this login dialog box comes up. So let me put in the administrator password which we retrieved using our key pairs file. Right, and let me click on OK. This will just warn you, give you some warnings, but I'm just ignoring and I'm saying yes. And this is going to launch my Amazon EC2 virtual machine, which is the Windows 2008 R2 server. On the right you can see the instance ID, the private IP address, and the architecture of the machine. Now this machine, remember, had SQL Server Express version installed on it, so let me just click on it and try and log in. There you are. So I get this login dialog box, and I'll choose Windows Authentication and I'll just say connect. And so I'm able to connect to the SQL Server. Now let me see further what this machine has, and I expect it to have IIS also installed. Remember, we chose an instance which has IIS already installed on it. So when I click on Administrative Tools, and there you are, I have the Internet Information Services Manager. So my machine is absolutely ready to work. It's in the cloud, it's a virtual machine, and I am being charged for it by the hour. And these charges depend on how capable a machine I have chosen. Right. So that's it. Now what I can do is I can just work on this as long as I like, and when I finish my work I can simply log off, or even I can shut down the machine from here itself. Right, so I'll just choose log off, and it has logged off the session I had. Right, now see, my instance is still running. I've just logged off from it. So let me just go and stop my instance. So I'll just click on stop, and you can use the instance actions drop down on the top. So it says we are going to stop your instance, and it says stopping. Right, so stopping obviously takes much less time than starting it, and you can see that it's stopped now. Now we have only stopped the instance, we have not freed up the storage resources for that instance. The hard disk is still on, so I would have to terminate it if I really want to remove all the resources being consumed. So I'm just terminating this instance. Right, and now the instance is finally terminated. So that's it. This is our quick and dirty initiation into Amazon EC2.